Very good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Buddhist Maha Vihara's Friday Dhamma series. Today we have with us a monk who's speaking for the first time at Buddhist Maha Vihara on a Friday, but Bhante had conducted a 5-day retreat over the past week, starting from Monday, and it ended this afternoon. So I see there's a lot of you who had actually attended the retreat who are here to listen to Bhante's Dhamma sermon this evening. And also there are a few faces that I noticed that are new who didn't attend the retreat. So for your benefit, I'll read Bhante's profile so that you know who Bhante is. Bhante Gnanaloka was born in Sri Lanka in 1971. He spent his formative years in Lesotho in South Africa. As a teenager, he developed a profound curiosity about the universe and delving into astrophysics and exploring religious texts such as the Bible, the Quran, and the Bhagavad Gita. At the age of 18, during a solitary walk at South Africa's Caledon River, he experienced a spontaneous insight into impermanence, a realization that would later align seamlessly with the Buddha's teachings. Having once dreamt of studying at Princeton, where his role model Albert Einstein had lectured, his early ambition of becoming an astrophysicist gradually gave way to a deeper calling. His pursuit towards spirituality and inner truths. Following a US visa rejection and simply to fulfill his father's wishes, he switched to business management studies in Cyprus. Yet after 2 years, an inner calling led him to abandon his university studies and return to Sri Lanka in search of a deeper truth. Then at the age of 18, Bhante met the most venerable Maha Thero, a highly revered German monk known for his strict asceticism and profound wisdom. This inspired Bhante, by the teacher's life of renunciation. He trained under him at the Polgas Dua Island Hermitage. Then in 1999, he took novice ordination, receiving the name Venerable Bambalapitiye Gnanaloka. And then in 2001, he was fully ordained as a bhikkhu, with Venerable Mahidhi Panyasiha Maha Thero as his preceptor, dedicating his life entirely to the Dhamma. Venerable Gnanaloka Thero is renowned for his deep love of solitude. He spent years in forests of Sri Lanka and the mountains of the Himalayas, practicing intense meditation and embodying the ancient Buddhist tradition of charika, wandering on foot and relying solely on alms. It wasn't until 2023 that he fully embraced his role as a teacher, launching teaching missions and conducting retreats across Sri Lanka, Australia, the UK, USA, and Europe. His teachings are direct and simple, deeply rooted in the suttas, emphasizing practical applications of the Dhamma over theoretical discussions. Through his guidance, he inspires practitioners to integrate the Buddha's teachings into their daily lives, fostering a deeper understanding of the path to liberation. So let us put our palms together and welcome Bhante Gnanaloka and invite him to start this evening's Dhamma sharing entitled An Urgent Call for Striving to Reduce and Avoid Suffering. Bhante.
Thank you very much. You're not bored meeting me again? Okay. All right. Yeah, even how much is repeated is no problem. So it's like you already, there are some who are new. It's only one particular, first I must bow down to my greatest master, the Samma Sambuddha. His golden feet, lotus feet, and especially the sign marks of the conch shell and the disc that was placed, that mighty being was able to conquer all defilements and give this liberation to living beings. And that noble teachings and the Arya Mahasangha, all the elders my prostration to them. And all blessings to all who are gathered here, friends in the Dhamma. So I wish you all strength, willpower. You must know that I have come to this kind of teaching first very long ago, when I was a young monk, when I was invited to US. I told them, the gentleman, when I am an arhat, I will come. What I meant was, we don't think in terms of those names, but I just have to tell him that when I see that myself I am perfected, then okay, I will come. Why should I felt still I was certain imperfections I was having. So I didn't want to teach anybody. I had some little compassion that I must guide people correctly. So anyway, it went on like that, and 2015, actually 2012 I came to the public also. That's also after Kailash, Mansarovar. I don't know, you know Kailash? Mount Kailash? So it's like in Tibet, it's in Tibet Plateau. So from 2009 I have been visiting Kailash until I got this sickness recently. Previous year I visited also. So in Kailash, after that one trip in 2012, I came to the public. It was like few cushions kept in Sri Lanka. And this was the first time I, after becoming a monk, just called to the public. And it was like so many crowd all over. From where they came, I don't know. So that's how it started, 2012. So it started a few programs I conducted that time. But again, I went to solitude. Solitude means did my own practice. So not that I'm always in solitude, but wherever I am now, even here, I make it a solitude. So that I tell you how to do it even in your normal life. Then I started this practice. Then in 2015, I faced this near-death experience in Kailash. This was, I don't know whether you heard about this high-altitude sickness. So this is something we normally get, and we have seen people dying in front of us, and we normally do get it, and then we manage to survive. But this time, 2015, it was after the Nepal earthquake, Kathmandu, and I just went to see my old friends who helped me before to this journey, because they were after this great tragedy. When I went there, suddenly the visa was possible and everything was okay. But something was telling me, gut feeling, as well as some kind of my advisors, not to go this year. This is not going to be very good. But I am not someone who, if things are working, I will go. I don't want to sort of depend too much on this, some kind of signals or, signs or something like that. But I did go. And it was all okay until I came to Mansarovar Lake. I was so fit also. Then I meditated in a cave with a lot of cool air. And, I didn't acclimatize properly. And then after that, actually I was looking for a place near the lake to put a dip. But then I found a cave, I meditated. And I was not properly covered also with severe cold and sudden altitude, 4,900 meters in Mansarovar. So after that, I went to take a bath in a hot water, spring. So this contrast suddenly, cold and suddenly this, and they were unable to find a room for me, they were sort of dilly-dallying, and the guides. I was in the vehicle, and suddenly I was feeling like, I knew there's something wrong, really dizzy. And so I went and got down and told the guide, please can I lie down somewhere? And then he realized something. Maybe quickly he got the room, and this is like a desert area, like Wild West. It's no real facilities. You have this pit for toilet. Still, Mansarovar, that area is no facilities. But Dachen, the base camp, has now with oxygen and hotels like 5-star hotels. The Chinese have built it. So what happened, he prepared for me. So as time went on, I couldn't even tie my lace, I was getting very weak and breathing very hard. So then when I went to, I quickly tied my thing and I went towards finding my guide, because before I collapsed, I thought, that. So when they saw me, they were trying to contact a doctor, there's no real doctor there. So there was this, nearly 11, 12, they're from Hore. There's a small village. So one person came with a balloon-like thing for oxygen. And, but he checked my pressure, and my pressure was high. So we had to wait. There's no medicine for high altitude. You had to descend. So what happened, it's 1, 2, and 3 o'clock, I think I can't make it. How long are you going to go? You run. And then what happened, I thought, no, because next day morning, the only way is, there are like Takalakot, there's helicopters, which only way to get in, go there and then descend quickly. So while I was lying down there, we have a practice. I think the retreat now you have all some idea. We have a practice, if death comes, we have been already trained for so many years how to face death, and we have studied about death, okay, this reality of life and about old age and all these things. So there's a practice where you look at your own self like from outside, not subjectively but objectively as a body and feeling, perception and so on, and consciousness. Mainly we have body and a consciousness, okay? So in the consciousness we feel, perceive, and this is what we call ourself. So there's a way of contemplating this, and then being detached from this. It won't come suddenly if you try to do it at that time, but it has been done daily. So when I was planning to do that now, so when I was planning to practice that, suddenly a thought came, I couldn't give enough to the people, like a regret. And I thought, oh, can't help it, next life. I will, this can't help it, I will do it next life. So then the story is a little long after that, I anyway survived. That was another occasion. Though I didn't become an arahant, I knew I have overdone. I should have shared something on the way. Of course, people have found me here and there, like they found me in Buddha Gaya, and then, a few people who would get to know, and suddenly they would, it was like that many years. I would not specially go for a talk or even for dana or any gathering. I continued practicing the same way my teacher, how he lived too. So, so then after that, I was actually, then this started to accept all the invitations. And 2017, I traveled to other countries, Australia, like this and so on. And then this time, it was very special. Again, after 2017, like 18, 19, I was back in Himalayas and also some jungle areas in Sri Lanka. So I called it being in the gym, if I'm not serving others outside, then I will be training myself. So I had the fortunate to be in the very deep areas in the jungle, supported by army. And then they have small posts, so we need food, that's the main thing. So to get some food, they used to give. In Sri Lanka this happened. So in other places also, like geography, National Geography, they had the scientists, they have left some, Nepali, porters to measure the melting of the glacier. So this one gentleman who was like the head of this area, he arranged that I get food to the cave. This was the last time I stayed in Badrinath. So, but it's very interesting how all these arrangements, there was a divine hand behind it. These are, I don't know if it's just to tell you that, that things happen. One of them maybe I will tell, okay? Just to tell you that there are other beings than just this human plane. So many, but one I will remember now. This was the last time I stayed in Badrinath. There, I was meditating, and then I used to visit a village called Maha. that is bordering China. So when I visited that village, I normally don't look at anybody. I will look a few steps ahead and don't reckon. I tell you all the same practice, not look at the details. This is called the sense control practice. So then I have been to that village and I came back. One day there was kind of a function in the Badrinath town. So like function means, they have these fire pujas of the Hindus. So I passed by there and there was this very pleasing looking gentleman. And that time my time has finished in the room I was given. It's 2 weeks I spent there. And in fact, I had to leave that place. And that morning, it's funny, in my meditation, I saw the face of, like the area. There are protective deities of the areas. Okay? So the statue of that is in the main temple. Like each area they believe, like a protective angel or guardian, they pray, the local people pray. So that statue picture actually I did see. I suddenly saw, now I don't particularly look at that or anything, but I have seen it, but I recognize, that's the picture. But that is the deity that is protecting that area. So then in the morning I left. When I left, I went to this where the function was going on, and there was this very nice looking gentleman with a coat, and he looked very pleasing. And suddenly I felt like I met him, and then he also asked, "How are you, Swamiji?" Or I said, "Yes, I'm okay." And we happened to, have a friendship. We spoke our information, and to see, I saw you, Swami, that when you came to our village, but you never looked anywhere, so that's why you didn't see me. You passed by, like that. He told me, and he told me then to see he was a very powerful person in that area. And so I said, I want to, find a solitary place like a cave to meditate. And they said, yeah, I can arrange that for you. And then what happened, he actually did arrange all that. So like this, I have many experiences and then got this food and everything. But the cave was, it was not a dry cave. When rain came, water did come inside, and then I had to go to another side, sleep in the straw. It was a good experience, In the cold, it's not very cold in those areas with jackets, and especially you have to go to toilet, it's outside. So it's like, just go, you find places in the bush, if it's in the jungle. But I must give you now some points, okay? Especially the purpose, maybe I had to remind you regarding something of the Dhamma. Normally I explain, I don't know whether, not in a program, even the first day of the retreat also I explain. So in 2023, I must tell you this, 2023, now I have been meditating like that. I never went to the public after that. Maybe few programs in Sri Lanka. 2023, a very special thing happened. A special meeting happened. In fact, it was my assistant in Buddha Gaya. He, in fact, told me, there's this special kind of sadhu in India. You must go and meet him. Normally, he doesn't tell like that. But he was very concerned that I should meet this particular. I was also not interested now. Those days I happened to meet sometimes. But here, to see in India also, now even in Sri Lanka or everywhere in other parts also, people have less faith about the power of monks, mystical power of monks, or these robes. Okay? So it is actually people, okay, you have other powers, political power, material power, some kind of other, this kind of thing is there. But the mystical aspect of it, that means that draws faith in the people's heart, that is really going down. But while this is happening, there are some beings who come from, in that situation to create the faith again in the people. So it's such a person in India. So he, lakhs of people, he draw the crowd there. And India also a lot of population. So I did go there. In fact, it's like a remote area, and there's a special mountain. When I went there, I felt a lot of energy, good energy. But he was not there. Anyway, I was happy. I went there and I came back. And I went again, another trip. So it is like a small flight from Delhi to that particular, province. So when I came there to see in that same flight, he's also going in that particular trip. He also have gone for programs, and then he was going back home. So when the plane landed, you see there were few people. No one knew that he was there. But there were few people, and then he got into the vehicle, and he saw me from far, and he called me and said, "Are you going to his ashram?" I said, "Yes, Swami." Then he said, he told to his people, "Please bring this Swamiji with me." So what happened, I already had a car arranged for me, but we followed him, and he used to go and see his mom when he first time, come from all these programs. How many of you heard this? Nobody, right? The first day? Okay, now you're remembering. Okay, it doesn't matter, I will tell you. It's just emphasizing suttas again and again from different corners, okay? So what happened, anyway, I'll come for question time. It will be interesting for me. But anyway, this part I will lay down, just give you some idea. So what happened there, he called, then we went. He goes to his mom's place after all this, this thing. And this is a very poor place, poor people, like in a village and all that. And when we went there to see, there were about 1,000 people. They got to know he has come in the night, and the army was there to control the crowd. So finally he called me. There were some others also in his kind of audience room. And he knew everybody there, and he spoke something to them, and then he said, "I want a minute with you." And then he sent everybody. And then he kept one person to translate. And this person, then, he's famous for this actually. In thousands of people or lakhs of people, what he does, he calls each person, he calls not everybody, he would call somebody from the crowd from their personal information. And maybe, he will ring this number, or he will call by name. Like this. Actually, my assistant also went. He told about my name, and he managed to even personally come close to him. But yes, he tell to go to there's a special audience hall, where there only he call people. So it is actually very interesting. I know that all the people he call is the people their karma is changing to good period. So people who are still to go through bad karma, he would not be calling. So anyway, when he was there, so what he does is he sit down, and he tells the person to sit down, and he would write. And then he would say, "Why did you come? What's your problem?" They would say they have cancer or some problem. Then he has written the problem, and he actually given a solution also. So this is what is like a mantra or something like that. That's what their solutions are. So then when he was with me alone, he did the same. He didn't take a board, but he's told everything actually. And then I met him several times. Whenever I go, I would meet him. Even I don't have ways of, other ways of, like I don't keep addresses, or it was very interesting. Then he told the reason why we meet was we both have been brother yogis in the previous life. And we had developed the same meditation, or certainly I'm sure it's only in the samadhi practice, but definitely not in nibbana way. So that's the reason that we are meeting. So he really encouraged me, and he said one day he told me like one day when he saw me, he said, "Not enough, he didn't know why he was telling not enough. And later on he explained to me, you can do more meditation, more power, you can practice, but he told me like that. That's why we said not enough, not that you are not enough. So you must know that after I became a monk, I also have to live a very ascetic life. We like that way, not that we were forced to live that way. So I walked a lot and lived on arms round and getting wet to the rain, with the sunshine. So in the jungle, so different experience. So there, my meditation, before I used to analyze, contemplate the suttas. Okay? So when I entered the monk, and also had some little tough brother monks around me also. I hope this is going to be edited or what. They were like, my teacher placed them under me, and they were like a competition with me those days. So I was very young, they were very older, but they admired me, they loved me. But same time, they were like babies, I would say. Like, I want this toffee, I want this toffee. I'm just telling you, okay? So it was very funny for me, tell you honestly. So I had to take them on a commando trip those days. So I used some meditation power, samadhi. Not that I want to, show anything, but anyway, I incline more to samadhi. Okay. So then long walks. Those days I went across. Those days we had LTT, the terrorist area. So I cut across their area as a wandering monk. That's another lot of things happened that trip. So went up, down, and came back again for Vasa period. So my teacher was living at that time. Even he, I never forget when I got his blessings, he told the Ishta Devas are there, the protective deities are there, so don't worry, you go. And he blessed me that time. So then I incline more to samadhi. Okay, so more to samadhi, that analyzing the suttas, contemplation, which actually leads to nibbana, that reduced. Okay, so when I was faced with some great adversary, like in the forest, wounded one time, the whole body was like, especially the face area was, with some poison. It's called, I don't know what you call it in English. Poison leaves touched me, and it was like I've been whipped. And then some actually robbers, they looked after me. And there I was trying to meditate. Then I found that samadhi you can't get when when your body has a lot of pain. Then suddenly, the old memory came. Remember the sutta, Anatta Lakkana Sutta, no self sutta, and slowly started chanting. And slowly, when I was applying to the feeling and facing the feeling, then and analyzing. Immediately when I started to analyze, contemplate, that I was not feeling. Slowly the idea of pain was going down. So like that I understood that, the power of vipassana, power of contemplation, and how, especially in the moment of death, if you have a lot of pain, if you only know samadhi, you will be lost. But if you're able to analyze, contemplate, you will be able to. That's why the possibility you will not go down, you will not get angry, or you will be able to control your emotions more easy. So it's a vast, very powerful thing, this wisdom, contemplation. So this way I was more into samadhi. Okay, I even stopped few pages I would read the suttas. I take the book to the Himalayas. Now even those caves have that old book which I had. So like with water and all that, it's like, tattered and all that. So, but this book I had to read few pages and then go back to samadhi. This is how it went on for many years. So now after he met me, when he said not enough, I went and did more meditation than before. But it was the same, samadhi, faith, mindfulness, all these other factors. This I did more and came again. When he saw me, I asked from far away, like a lot of crowd, and he asked, when did you come? And I immediately asked, how is my meditation? And he looked at me and said like this. Okay, like this, what do you mean? Then he said he will explain to me in his room. And then in the night, like around 2 o'clock, it's a very different situation. Thousands of people waiting to meet him. There's another story, very hilarious. There's no time. I'll just cover all the things, okay? Normally my programs are 3 hours, but I'll make it 1.5 hours enough for me to give you, something. And so he told me, your samadhi is good, your faith is good, you're mindful, all that good, but your know-me meditation is not good. His English is not very good, okay? Now like mine, when I came from Lesotho, I can't speak Sinhalese. Now after Sri Lanka, teaching, they have turned my brain into some kind of, I know it's difficult when I'm speaking English, I'm thinking about it. It didn't happen before. So how the brain can be conditioned, again, this way, that way, but doesn't matter. So he told me, know me meditation. Immediately I understood what it meant. That is this contemplation that leads you to the awareness of the true nature of our being as no self. Okay, so this is actually then when then he also he means like he actually gave this idea that I have a book with me. That this book, if you read that, nobody knows I have this Samyutta Nikaya all the time. Even now I have brought it to this trip also for my own reading. That where all the suttas are there, of which suttas led to arhatship of the monks, Buddha's time, they are all analytical suttas. So he said this book, if you read all, the brain will entirely open, fully. So, and then I knew that I must force myself now. This is too wrong, that I continue like this. So I went to the jungle in Sri Lanka. Jungle means those days that part of jungle, but now there's a lot of facilities. The monks have come and kind of marketing, or I don't know what it is. Anyway, they have made this place. So I had good experiences as a young monk, young upasaka, young yogi in that place. So I went back to that place and started forcefully reading the Khandavagga which you have read. Okay, so when I read the book and I went back, not the way you did even contemplating, just fast, I just read. About 1 week I spent there. And when I went to India and met him, I asked again, then 80%. I just suddenly, really thought, how, then 80% this inside the positive energy or kusal has increased. So I went back again, and there's another section, I start reading that also in Sri Lanka. I went back again, 120%. So then it gave me a lot of confidence, like we know it by theory, we can understand that, the vipassana or insight is so powerful. Wisdom is more powerful than any other thing in the world. So it can clear your karma very fast. But the thing is, so what happened then after then this is how it started. Okay, so I started, there have been that monastery that they have been making it for nearly 12 years actually, the people. Finally they offered it, and then I made a trust and for it to be run. So I'm still living the wandering life, and even the monks who I ordain, I want to train like me. Not to have monasteries, not to to go on this path, so that, there's, as a spiritual leader, you be, to those places, but make sure that, you are going on the path daily, and then you're attaining this. So, but now I must explain some mechanism, okay, of the Dhamma. So this I notice now, when you die, okay, when someone dies close to death, suddenly you see that some people come and speak to, like, what do you call that, schizophrenia? Schizophrenia, I don't know. Anyone, doctors, or not dementia, like you cannot remember, no, that is? This is like hallucinations, yeah, okay? Yeah, some like you hear voices speaking and all that. So I remember one occasion, there's this old gentleman. Suddenly these voices, of the mother, his dead mother and dead father, I think. So, and then I also was there, I came. Then I knew what was going on, because actually this is another world, another plane, where these beings have been all the time with them. Okay? Only now when they are about to die, they are so attached to that, they want to take them to their world. Okay. So then I knew about their history. Actually, I knew in 1940s, 1930s, these people have done a lot of good deeds. Okay, if you look at from outside, they have donated monasteries, forest monasteries, and also, and then they have done so many, Katina. You have Katina. And then so many, they have gone to Burma those days, did retreats, so many retreats. I have heard that. And then every, like the moon cycles, they would 4 moon cycles per month. Every month they used to observe the Sila. So like this, I have heard they have done so many good deeds. Then I was wondering, or doing all that, how come they are born there? Okay. Then it came to me, though they have done these things, in their normal life, they have been having this attachment to the family, the surrounding in the sensual world, and maybe working place or even the society. So there was not that enough detachment means enough meditation, where they were able to sort of, dissociate from this thing. They did it in terms of ping or this good karma. But kusala karma, skillful karma, that was not much done. So I was then wondering, then I was really thinking, I don't know whether it is like, maybe they are in a transit lounge, maybe there's McDonald's there, or, but I don't want to laugh about it. This is I see in the modern times, when people die in these modern times, this kind of birth is very, very, very real. Okay, I have so many other stories where I have associated very great big people, and I see them when they die, and because they had faith in me also, I can't tell who they are. So they were expecting, they were last days having cancer and all that. So they used to like me because I was in the jungle, come and I used to take rest in their areas, their places. So when they had a lot of hope in the last moment, but I found that they too, they never accepted death. The death will come. They didn't do anything any preparation for death. So they were good people as human beings, but there were a lot of desires for, the property and the things around them. Okay? Because you must know, meeting me, it is who is interested to be liberated or who want to go on that path actually. So it might be bitter sometimes, but if you're really interested, because this is like a duty, I'm coming and giving this Dhamma, but I am also on a certain path, and then which is clear for me, so I'm sharing it to others, and I'm concerned that as a monk or spiritual person, I should be giving you the information and knowledge that we have time to, so whatever practice you're doing according to Buddha's teaching, that it reaches the standard, that you're safe. So this is there, okay? So I must explain another one thing. When we say a person, we have mainly the body, okay? The flesh body. And then we have consciousness, okay? That is a very two distinct, you can know things. So normally, I think I have explained that before also, when we have the ear and the sound wave, just to understand, because consciousness is hardly understood in the modern times. And they don't want to understand also. The thing is, the consciousness is actually trying to be related with neurons and so on, and still it's under research. So someone in the Western world who has really in a close way, explained consciousness is one person called Deepak Chopra. Have you heard about him? So he's actually done a great contribution, because in the ancient Eastern philosophies, consciousness was already known. It was known that it is a separate thing, it needs a body, but it is something separate from the body. You can't explain from anything in your neurons how consciousness works. Okay, there is something when you, you can see some ways, how patterns and all that, but consciousness using the body, it's a different thing. Okay, it uses, but it's not the body. So, but in the ancient philosophy, they already knew, like you have consciousness based on your karma. The rishis, the bodhisattva, he already knew these things. So they knew that, in the past lives, the anger, greed you had, that is how it's bringing you to a type of consciousness now. And the type of experience you have to go through with family or in the working places and all that. And again, now you will be making karma. So they have ways of coming to samadhi. Okay? Samadhi was a more purer state of consciousness. Okay, that more purer state of awareness, being. So they developed this samadhi, the meditation, to come out of this karmic cycle. So, but what happened? It is still a consciousness. So Buddha found this, that it is still a consciousness. Again, there is name and form, there is rebirth, and then there is death in whatever way, and then you come back. So then, how to escape from consciousness? This was a unique contribution by a Buddha. That is by wisdom. Okay? So that is Buddhahood. The Buddha is where to, that special contribution is where to escape consciousness is the only way through wisdom. Okay? So this is very important, and especially about the conditional, because even samadhi is Actually, it's dispassionate from the 5 sense organs. Okay? Samadhi is when you're dispassionate to 5 sense organs, then you get samadhi. And wisdom is where you leave even samadhi. That means you leave all feelings, even peaceful feelings. Okay? So it is if samadhi is minus, wisdom is minus minus. So it's actually, you can't imagine what a samadhi is also. It is infinite experience. The consciousness frees so much from the 5 senses, and then it's more infinite, this the insight, wisdom you get. Okay? So these are not to be talked, or you can tell the way how to experience this. Okay? So now, just take it slow motion, just to give you an idea. Actually, I'm putting you in a deep thinking, because my goal is to put you right away, even in programs, in the track of how to do it daily. I will tell you that also. And then what to think to get enlightened. Okay? So that, what kind of thinking you must be doing to get that awakening. So then you have, say for example, you have just to know, we have a body and we have consciousness. How to recognize consciousness? Okay, we have a body, okay, we have the flesh body, say the ear. So somebody hit you that you became unconscious. Okay, when you're getting conscious, how do you know how you become conscious? What are the signs that you become conscious? Like immediately, like you have a sound, and then you have the sound waves and the ear. Okay, based on that, there is that initial attention you give. That initial attention is a part of consciousness, okay? And then suddenly, with that you get the corresponding consciousness. And in that consciousness, you have the main factor, feeling. The consciousness is made up of feeling. Feeling, and what you feel, you begin to perceive as pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. And if you perceive as pleasant, there's something that reacts. That's part of the consciousness, with greed, as it's unpleasant, with hate, and if it's neutral, with delusion. So if that reaction, if you only think if in a thinking form you react, it's called mind karma. Okay, if you verbalize, it's word karma. If you do action, this way is karma. In the Paticca the condition links. Ignorance is the cause of sankhara. That sankhara is the karma formation. Okay. So this is the normal thing you must know, that especially consciousness needs a condition to arise. This is a very big finding by the Buddha. The condition is you need an organ. You need an object from outside. And then you need that attention. If you have these two and you don't pay attention, you're not giving that initial attention, you don't get that corresponding consciousness. Okay? Now this is a very important thing to break this consciousness. Break means to stop this, because what we call rebirth and death and rebirth, this is happening because of consciousness. Consciousness arises somewhere. So to stop it, you'll have to understand this. Buddha's picture was the great suffering of being born again. I don't think some of you really want to, okay. All right. Your Nibbana could be something else at the present moment, okay? But doesn't matter. Even if you have everything, when you have to die, when you have the issue of you have to die, it's a big suffering. So, the consciousness it is dependent. It can never arise without this, like the object, like a sound wave. If something, no sound wave, if you only have the ear and then you're paying attention, it won't arise. If you have the ear, if you don't have there's some problem with your ear, and then there's a sound wave, and if you pay attention, still it will not take place. All these 3 conditions should be there. The sound wave should come, the ear should be okay, and you should pay attention. Okay? Now, when you die, actually, normally you have heard, you get a last thought. Have you heard? We all want to make the last thought peaceful. All right? Because we believe, even someone who doesn't believe next life or anything, we have that gut feeling we must die peaceful. So the last thought is there, and normally a last breath is there for everybody. Okay? So according to karma, your mind gets distracted. Now, for example, you'd have heard about this program and then you want to go. So there is, you have a desire. You are hearing this, that there's a good program, it is your karma. Okay? And then your mind is directed to that. And then you come, now you experience the karma. Same way, at the moment of dying, based on the accumulated karma, which is more predominant, that comes as a thought. Now in the retreat, if you did it properly, if you didn't speak and all that, you would have got some unusual thoughts with anger or greed or whatever. This should have happened. If it not happened, I don't know. Okay, doesn't matter. You all look bright enough, you have gone through the process, I think. So if these thoughts come, that is the very predominant karma we have done. Sometimes we are so busy, it will never come. And then it will come at the moment of death. That will then determine the next birth you are going to get. And with a bad thought, and especially with sexual activity, and what you got angry, especially what you have done physically, this gets recorded. There's another story how the karma gets recorded. And the nature waits until you correct yourself and come, and your life stagnates. Okay, so these are very important to know about, the nature's laws, how they work, so that why these rules are made by the Buddha. There's a purpose to protect you. Otherwise, there's a script you're writing all the time. So you must make sure that it is written for your good, and then you're liberating yourself. So then, in the last moment, normally a normal person, okay, as I told you, a person who has, who has attachment to the family, surroundings, and maybe not do much meditation, but does good deeds. So he accumulates, he normally gets attached to children or surrounding, and then he gets angry, because when you get attachment, you get anger. So with attachment, you create karma, and when you get angry, you create karma. And this karma is in the sensual world. Okay? So such a person, when they die, they will get a last moment, thought. And then the last breath will also go. So what do you think, such a person, will they be able to focus on the last breath, or do you think they will get distracted by the last thought? Some people who have come, who have stayed in the program, don't answer, okay? Let the people who have come new, we try to test them. Not test them, I want you to learn to think. What do you think? Behind? Do you think they will get distracted, or do you think in terms of they have karma? Okay, still they have karma, and they have craving nature. So if these two things are there, will they be by force? They have heard in some bana or some teaching that if you focus on the breath, it will be okay. So then will they be able to try like that, or will they be distracted? Okay, distracted. So when they get distracted, now remember what I explained before, you will be paying attention. Okay? You will be directing your attention. So the causes for consciousness, and there's an object. Okay? That thought is an object. And then you have all the conditions for consciousness to arise, or no? What do you think? Do you think the conditions are there, or the conditions are not there? There is the mind door, and there's the thought is the object, and then the attention is you have directed. Then all these three come together, and there's condition for consciousness to arise. Then consciousness arise means name and form, rebirth happens. Okay? Now think of somebody, you have heard about non-returner. Non-returner is someone who has no desires for the sensual world, no karma also. Okay, it's a spiritual attainment where you get that level of insight, where your defilements are absent and your karmas are destroyed, that you won't be reborn in this sensual plane, but you will be rising in another plane. So such a being, will he be able to keep his attention to the last breath, or will he be distracted? What do you think? Sorry, it's difficult. Huh? He'll be able to. Is he still free from craving completely? Does he not still attach to meditation or peacefulness, which leads him to Brahmaloka, the higher worlds, which has no sensual desires, but it has peaceful feeling? Will he not be distracted for that? To that? Okay, not maybe he has. Okay, yes. So then if he has craving, just picture it in your mind. If he has craving, and he has karma in that world, will he be distracted? He will be distracted. So when he pay attention, that peacefulness becomes an object and consciousness will arise. It's a subtle consciousness, okay? Nevertheless, it's a consciousness. So rebirth will happen. Now think it's you who attain arhatship. No desires whatsoever, okay? No karma for you. When the last breath goes, will you be able to focus on it or not? What do you think? Just imagine this, what I'm speaking is not some knowledge. It is for your personal experience one day if you want to. How to train your mind to apply this, okay? So if you keep it to the last breath, the conditions won't be there. And my teacher used to warn me after explaining this, it's deep. So I also warn you, it's deep. Okay? So, but at least that in a logical way, something you should be able to have clarity. All right? So, this is one day when you're reading the... Do you have the books? Do you have the... So actually in Sri Lanka and everywhere I'm encouraging, I'm showing that this book is a magic book. Because now it is normally used for pirit, chanting. Okay, that power normally people believe in it. Okay, chanting for some problem and so on. And also they're depending on Nibbana on another person's explanation. Okay, not the direct. Now actually the suttas have visions. The suttas, now this book, somebody will say it's 8th grade knowledge of Dhamma. My aunt told me, Four Noble Truth is already known. What to know about it more? No, I don't need more. I can have a bookshop here. It's okay. Okay. All right. So, it's your personal one. Take it. Don't leave it for me. It's good. It's like all compiled my teachers and some specific that order for the retreat. So this actually has vision that can to for example, this Four Noble Truths. All right. This was actually the book that made my teacher from a Hindu yogi to a Buddhist. Like Second World War time. They were in the intern camp, the British, they took all the Germans and put them in the intern camp in Dehradun, North India. It's near the Himalayas actually. And then there he was so depressed actually with all his business gone and everything. And by that time he has been practicing yoga kind of meditation. So he met this Gnanaloka, these Bhantes. And then they gave him this, actually this book. And suddenly, because he already had that samadhi, he immediately knew, this is it. Nothing to find more. So this one, in this book actually, this Buddha's, I told you before, Buddha is nothing but a meditation. Okay, he's the living Dhamma. So when he speaks, it's meditation objects. When he spoke to somebody, that particular discourse struck him, and then Buddha he knew their faculties, if they were in balance. So he would just wait for the time and place, and then he would come and meet them and he would instruct. And these are the instructions that are, that we are taking as suttas. So these instructions, when that time, Buddha's time, when it was discoursed, they became enlightened. Either they got the eye of the Dhamma, that is called Sotapanna, or they became Arahant. So these have visions. So my teacher from many foreign monks actually, who were striving, they had the idea, the original teaching was the suttas, but they also knew to use it as a meditation, the original purpose. So now what became popular in the modern times for meditation was techniques. Okay, so this like from Burma mainly, so that's what we mostly know, taken from one sutta like Satipatthana Sutta or something like that, and then used it, interpreted in a certain way for practical use. But it can work for some, don't know whether it works for everybody, but here is like so many techniques. Buddha himself is your teacher. So this is what we actually found, that this was actually, I got used to practicing that way, and it was not new for me. And then later on, and how to practice in such a way that not as a scholar, but taking it now. This is the old way, it's called Paryapti, Pratipatti, Prativeda. Paryapti means study. But study doesn't mean like, you're memorizing and waiting for an exam. You read, and then pratipatti means apply, practice. So that is the application where you have enough samadhi, and while you're reading, you're guiding your mindfulness, contemplation from the way Buddha is explaining to the present moment. So this is normally you read, and in the walking meditation, we will do one or two. So the time is passing very fast. So this is very important. I hope you will have it in your bedside even. Start this. So as a daily practice, like in the morning, have a routine where you practice metta, which you have already learned from here. Metta, anapanasati, and don't do it for the sake of doing it. Just make sure that then you get the effect, you get enough peace from it. So sometimes your work might get neglected, but you must learn to get that state, mental state, like you brush your teeth and wash your face. Same way, you learn to get that peaceful state in the beginning, in the morning. And then you start. When you have learned, that means you have got some peace, some peacefulness, means your anger and greed internally has decreased. Then only you get that nice feeling. If you have a lot of greed, a lot of irritation or negative thinking, this samadhi don't come. Okay? So you can do some chanting and try to, inspire yourself and block whatever thoughts that are coming from previous day. You can start that. All right? And then also you must know where you have done mistakes. You had bad habits, some mistakes. You should be able to notice, be humble enough and wise enough to know what you are addicted to. Maybe too much use of phone. These are modern day things that more dopamine is, this thing, and then you have that, like you are distracted by, like short, like you could say your attention span is slowly decreasing. Especially with the phones, it's a big problem for this meditation, because it's normal, what you're seeing and hearing is also disturbance. But you bring things far away what is happening, and just, putting it into your system, then how difficult it is to attain Nibbana. Not Nibbana, Samadhi. Nibbana is more further, but at least Samadhi, or to have some peacefulness. So this you must know is an addiction. So you must be very careful. Like I hope you must learn to curtail this. And I found that like in the blue light, it's called the blue light of the screen, that it affects the some melatonin or something in in the what is this gland is called? Pituitary gland or no? There's a very specific gland which helps you to think and concentrate. Okay? So that is really affected. So then you can't sleep really properly. You don't get the restfulness to sleep, and you don't get deep sleep. And like this is going to, you must be careful. So now I know they have heard about that, and they put a screen or something. So they just want to keep it, going in the people's hand. So you have to really be wise enough just for your work. I know you can't be without it, but make sure that how you can, before you sleep, don't try to use it so much. And if you're doing other than the work for work purpose, that if you're using it, you must learn that it's going to damage you, and then you'll have to make a discipline. Okay, so and dopamine also. I heard that in Japan and all that, like 2 weeks they keep away the phone and all that. They're called dopamine detox or something like that. So these things you must know if you really want to prepare your mind and body for deeper vision of the teachings. If you want to get a deeper experience, like your intuition to work, then you will have to prepare. Otherwise, you will just superficially know the teachings. Rest of your life, you will never know this. And you will have fear when you're dying. You have so much attachments, and then you will not have that strength to control your mind. So this will reduce your fear. This will definitely reduce your fear. When your cravings are reduced, your fear will start to reduce. And daily, in a daily life, you will have self-satisfaction that you're mastering your mind. So this is very important. In the morning, I hope, and when you're driving or doing things, the 2 things you must learn when you go out. One is sense control. Okay? If you want to develop meditation, if you want to really have peacefulness while you're doing the work, that means you don't look at the details around you. As I told you, when you cross a road, you may look at the vehicles, but you don't look who is inside the vehicle. Okay, simply like that. Like I told you before how I am now. I am focused. I'm looking at you, but now when I look, it's unfocused. You must learn this unfocused way. So this is where the monkey mind will reduce. If you register so much, you will have, now even with the phone you are registering so much, so you will have the monkey mind automatically. So the cause of that is lack of sense control. Okay, so that is the main practice. If you want, that's the foundation. It must be a permanent, constant practice. The other one is mindfulness. Okay, so to remind yourself to pay attention to the present moment. So your mind is not used to that. Your mind will go to the future, the past. So you remind again and again to pay attention to the present moment. That is how you pay attention to the sounds, and you pay attention to what you see immediately. The ground or whatever, just like a baby. What you just see, you learn to make a note of it. It looks so simple, but then again the thought will run, I'm going to do this, or what happened. Then again you bring. So after some time you try that, you manage to settle down. So when you're driving also, you must feel the steering wheel and like the back touching the, what is this? So like this, these are special awareness which we have not harnessed. So now if you want to develop meditation, you learn to slowly, train yourself to pay attention to those things. So that part of the brain is actually fallen asleep. It's not working, not that you are not having the capability, it is not being worked out. So this is very important. So when you do like that, I know in UK, once one gentleman, he was in the front, and so the organizers have told, don't speak to Bhante, he normally goes silent in the vehicle. So he was very interested in the Dhamma, I think, so he was very anxious, he couldn't control his pact with the organizers. So he slowly asked, Bhante, can I talk to you? Of course I would say yes, I will not say no. Then he said, Bhante, how to meditate? Can you tell me? So he's driving. So I thought, now how many times you explain meditation, they will never know. So I said, shall we meditate right now? And he said, okay, Bhante. So I said, just feel the steering wheel properly. Okay? And then feel the touch of your back to the seat. And then try to notice also the clutch or whatever you're, from the leg. Just try to do that now, I told him. But he was silent. And the silence went on. So I just didn't speak anything. And it's like 1 hour, 2 hour journey. And by the time we came to the destination, he said, Bhante, I have never experienced this peace. And this went around, to other drivers and all that. And I found some of them miles in the highway, they're driving and they didn't feel tired. So this, if you do your work, normal work, without feeling mentally tired, then you have meditated. Now this is what you must master. Then only at least one step, you can't leave all these things. In the morning, the first thing, you must make sure, whatever activity you are doing, for example, you are, say, walking from one place to the other, that's at least the steps. The mindfulness, whatever way you can, which is predominantly you can observe, that part you must note to any activity. So if it's driving, it's that part. If you're walking, then, remind yourself, let me walk from here to that place with this. And without looking, the other one is not to look at the details around you. Okay? So now I must also explain to you about something. It's like, actually, when you get fear and worry, you have a certain hormone that creates in your body. Have you heard that? This is called adrenaline. Okay? So normally adrenaline hormone makes you have those thoughts. They are related like that. So say you have, for example, if you meditate, if you become calm, now these days maybe you have created some special, I will tell about that. Say you meditate, you chant, and you have devotion and all that. Then also something should be created. Okay, when the desire level decreases to a certain extent, something should happen in your body, in your hormones. There is something. It is called actually ojas. That's in the Ayurvedic term. It's called ojas. Okay, ojas is a kind of thing also that goes, it travels to your brain and opens up areas of your brain that was not open before. And they get deposited there. And when it gets deposited, it makes you have those thoughts again, devotion maybe, special devotion and samadhi. Okay? When it is created again and again, ojas gets formed in you. So more ojas, you have a strong aura. And then your skin starts to become baby skin. Okay, I'm not talking about now a body shop lecture. Okay, so then some critics have this thing that, but this critic goes and criticizes every monk who is trying to promote suttas. So it's like, yeah, he found out that. So anyway, there will be a shine. If more ojas is created, there will be a shine in your cheeks and forehead. So I tell, don't lose that shine. I mean, it's better than Nivea, no? Nivea? You have Nivea? Okay, so this is coming from good character. Okay, more you have good character, and that creates that aura and that shine. So this is ojas. Okay, now when you read the suttas, more potent thing is created. That is called tejas. Okay, more you have insight, more you analyze. So that is more potent, and that actually also gets awakened in your frontal cortex. And so this is very important, I think. You must get encouragement, so that if you, for example, break the sila and all that, how much. I know one particular girl, a young girl, very small. When she was born also, I knew her. She was like, I feel like she's like a very special girl, destined for great things. But she had a very bad time. She went astray. In fact, their family put her to an international school. They're very poor people, but they somehow, was thinking to put her to a good school. And they didn't know that in the international schools, there's another part, another aspect, another culture, which is so dangerous. So, I mean, even me, I was saved by my own shyness in that matter, in that regard. Otherwise, I would have also had a lot of things that I could have not meditated later. So she has gone for one of those sleepovers, and then, being her bad time, she went, she was in bad company, and certain bad things happened, and after that she got addicted to certain things, and she looked so different. So the elders, the parents, they want her to see me. And when she was coming, her grandma, who is a very close devotee of mine, she asked her daughter, "Did you take a bath and come?" So I was wondering why she asked like that, Then she said, "Yes, Acha." And then she came and sat down, and to see, she told everything what happened to her. That how she got, addicted to seeing things in the phone, which is not suitable, for so many years. Now 2 years actually. Now recently, the last few months, like there is smell of poop, smell of feces, okay, around her. So that's why the parents also would have noticed and asked, "Did you take a bath and come?" So I can just imagine, because you attract those negative forces around you, okay, who are made up of that, and more you are doing this kind of lust and greed or anger, then you open up those dimensions. Okay, so then they are made up of those, the smell and so on. So like you have nice smell that goes up till Brahmaloka, Buddha says, when you are observing the sila. The same way when you break the sila, also you have that. Okay, so be careful with the phone. Okay, make sure that you reduce. So any question, I mean, that's boring for me otherwise. I like to get a question from you, or what you understood from what I said now. Do you have an idea how to, yes?
I'm interested in the dying moment. I didn't catch your idea of the last breath. What do you actually focus on, or what do you think?
Okay.
At your last breath.
Right. I was explaining that if you have karma, how you get distracted at the moment, that no one can actually keep their attention to the last breath. They get distracted by the last thought. So now only an arahant manages to keep to the last breath. So it is just to show the conditioned nature of consciousness, and as an arahat, how you don't have karma and you don't get distracted, so you don't pay attention. You can pay attention to the breath alone, so he won't be reborn. He doesn't create the opportunity for consciousness to arise. But this is a very deep point. Very deep point. It is, I just, like what you were reading about the khandas, why to remove your attachment to the 5 aggregates. So this whole purpose is there, because consciousness has a focus to body, feeling, perception, and like a gum is our craving, which is like sticking to that particular consciousness is sticking to these 5 aggregates. Okay? So when you remove the gum by meditation, it can't exist anymore. This is a very, very deep aspect of our existence. So this is what the Buddha is doing. He slowly, this is, so I was familiarizing you to see the conditioned nature, to, of conscious, not me actually, my teacher is to explain this. So only Arahant would be able to keep his full attention to the breath, because he has no desires, he's not attached to the breath also. And then when he's keeping like that, then you have to imagine it yourself. If you don't have any desires, you won't be distracted by this or that. And that will become a meditation object if you begin to think about it with the suttas.
But Bhante, in the dying bed, we see most of the, I think most people suffer during the dying bed.
Yeah.
So in the state of suffering, can you really have
Very good.
have no other emotion or thoughts?
Yeah. You were in the retreat, right? Do more retreats. That's what you have to do. Yes, don't worry, you have already done. I'm very glad you did it. Okay, do more of it. That will prepare you. You will not die then. Finally, you will not die. You will not associate what dies. So, no, I told you, people in Sri Lanka, sometimes now if you're gone to jungle, if you lived in a certain way, in Sri Lanka, this habit is there to find out whether the monk has attained something. So they have tempted me to sort of, I have no way. My teacher has told us also never to tell to ourselves even whether we have attained something. Just practice, continue the practice. So one thing I can say to myself is that, if death is going to come, what I have done all these years, I think that's the best thing I have done to face, to remove desires. Now, for example, even when my father passed away, now 6 months back, more than that maybe, and some Malaysian devotees in Australia, during a retreat actually, they asked me, how do you say your goodbyes to your father? So I can see when I renounced, the renunciation, when my hair was to be cut, that day I felt like I was being taken to gallows, a death, because I know I will be cut away from sensual, things. And especially our gross body is connected with very sensual things. So when in your renouncing means you're not going to experience these things, means it's like a kind of a death. So I can see those renunciation process. It's one form of killing you before death comes. And then when you are meditating, you are killing you. And when you are practicing vipassana, you are killing further. Now you have come for a retreat, leaving home and everything. It's a start. You are coming from the mainstream, the normal, habituated way. So this will really help you. And more you can do these things, definitely. You told a very good point. You definitely, that worry and fear can come. Different people will die different ways. The karma will be different. But anyway, whoever reduces desire will have less fear. Okay, more wisdom, and more wisdom, then less desires. So you keep daily practice metta bhavana and anapanasati. Read the book daily, contemplate this. Be careful with watching TV and all other entertaining things, so that you strengthen your, you learn to taste a very higher pleasure, not these lower pleasures. Then you will have confidence, you will have strength, you will be protected.
One last question on the dying. Normally, I also see that people are suffering in the dying bed. As a layman or as somebody, how do we reduce their suffering?
Yeah, very good. Yeah. Best thing is you also put yourself, you make it an object of meditation. And you can also chant something for them. Okay, and you also can be detached and develop a state of peace in you. That will flow to him. That will be the greatest support to those beings who are suffering around you. When you emanate that peaceful energy from you, that will raise their consciousness and give that inner very vital strength to them. Or you can even chant with that, so that your voice, with that energy that goes into it, it will definitely create peace into them.
Okay, thank you.
But anyway, I hope you can find the books, that keep it near your bedside, and have that daily, practice of metta, anapanasati, and then read. Have a session of reading, and look at where you are distracted in your normal life, and then see where your own mistakes, what you are addicted to. 3 days, keep away from that. Okay, like that. Then increase 4 days, 5 days, like this. So these are the things to self-improvement, and this way you will be developing. Let's do one. No, I forgot. Okay, quickly. I will read it to you all. Okay, this, when you're reading, if you have the books with you, this, as I told you, this is not a knowledge or something, you gather knowledge. It's a kind of meditation object to help you to get a certain type of focus, so that you see deeply the final reality of ourselves. Now I know who have practiced like that. When people come shouting at them, they have tools to look at it with wisdom, where that they are not looking at it with make it very personal. They are able to see the final truths working there, and then they won't be reacting. Okay? So, but if you have not trained like that, you can't do that. It looks real. Someone shouting at you, okay, or praising you, whatever. All right. So, okay. This is about the elements. In the Buddha's time, Buddha didn't explain in terms of atoms. Those days that was not known. So in those days, they knew about the material world is made out of 4 elements. Like natures, like hard nature, liquid nature, heat, fiery nature, and then, air, okay, wind, like this, movement. All right? So now, when you are reading this kind of thing, you must learn to apply to you and observe you. So like you must picture yourself how you are seated, and like you are looking from outside. Now Buddha asks, what now is the solid element? The solid element may be one's own, or it may be external. That means solidity, the nature of that, what we call what's own is in this space. Okay? Or external. External may be this mic or this table. Okay? Or the ground. And what is one's own solid element? Whatever in one's own person or body, there exists of karmically acquired hardness. Now Buddha gives in one word how these body parts come. They don't come from the sky or something. They come, due to karma. If you want to know about karma and rebirth from a non-Buddhist angle, I would say spiritual science, you must go through this book called Edgar Cayce's Many Mansions. That will be interesting reading material. He used to go into unconscious states and diagnose people, their problems, and he used to refer to their problems related to the things they have done in Crusaders' time. Now in New York, there was this lady. She had some problem, and she came to him, and she, she was so beautiful. Her hand was used for advertisements. That's how she earned her living. And she used to show the hand, and then they used to have jewelry or whatever, and they used to picture it. And she was very spiritual too. To see in a previous birth, she has been a nun. And as a nun, when she used to clean the toilet of the nunnery, she has used her own hand. With faith, she didn't think this is yak or something. So this was the karma. She was having the beautiful hand, and also she was spiritual because she was a nun. She had been practicing in the past lives. So like this, so many case studies, very interesting. So this will give you. I don't tell people to believe blindly about karma also, but it explains a lot, and it is a basic knowledge you should have for why. Then you know the purpose of meditation in Buddha's teaching. It's not just to be peaceful or calm. It's to live peacefully, die peacefully, and reborn in a peaceful place. Okay? So now, like you look at from outside, what now is the solid element? The solid element may be one's own, or it may be external. And what is one's own solid element? Whatever in one's own person or body, there exists of karmically acquired hardness, firmness, such as the hairs of the head. Now you must visualize this actually, hairs of the body, nails, teeth, skin, flesh, sinews, bones, marrow, kidneys, heart, liver, diaphragm, spleen, lungs, stomach, bowels, mesentery, excrement, and so on. This is called one's own solid element. Now, whether it be one's own solid element or whether it be the external solid element, they are both merely the solid element. Now, in this way, and one should understand according to reality and true wisdom, this does not belong to me, this am I not, this is not myself. So if you have enough observation, if you take it both, if just because it's in this space, you get that idea, this is mine. But in terms of nature, whether it's the outside or internal, it's same. So it goes, then when you look in mentally like that, you are able to take away that solid, this thing. So if it takes liquid nature, fluid nature, you have, say for example, blood in your veins and all that, and the blood flowing from a tap. So if you look at both of them in terms of liquid nature, it's same. Okay? So now say urine even, it's in your bladder and then you go to the toilet and then it goes out. When it's in your bladder, you think it's my urine. Okay? And when it goes to the toilet, what happens to you? So you begin to see it in the final nature of things. So you take away like that. You have to do this exercise. So I told you after Metta Bhavana, Anapanasati in the morning, you do this exercise. Okay, one. So then this will help you, especially like, if in your working place somebody scolds you or your husband, your wife. I have seen people who have practiced this, they are able to, they will not react. And they also become peaceful and the people around them also will become peaceful. So you have great tools. That's very important. So this meditation I hope you can do. Any other question? Thinking, is it? No question? You got enlightened so fast? Anything? Oh, you managed to come? Today? Any time before you managed? No? Okay. So I hope practically the phone you can, you must try to be careful with. Knowing, even in YouTube you'll find many programs about, dopamine detox. You get information so that you get supporting things to convince you to discipline in that. If you really want to, get more peacefulness and experience more higher states of consciousness, and while you are living this life to experience this, and you can time to time take do some retreats, maybe self-retreat, and that way you will, what you gain from those things, these things will be the most valuable things in your life. Not any other wealth or fame or whatever, those things, you'll feel unfulfilled.
Sukhi Hotu Bhante.
Okay.
As many people, as we grow, as we age, we are thinking about death.
Okay.
I've been thinking about death because I know that one day I will die. I also know that many venerables, Bhantes, always ask us to detach from family. I can detach from property, but when what is the method that I can detach from my loved ones,
Correct.
family members, which I think it might be very tough for me.
Yes, correct. Understand, it's a good
Thank you.
question. I had a great-grandma, she actually, when her son, that my grandfather's younger brother or elder brother, I can't remember. So during the British time, they were in England, and so my grandfather was different, but my grandfather's brother was, very hedonistic person, and also he was involved in gambling and womanizing, and I heard that so many other vices like that. And then when he was dying, in fact it's very interesting, like that mother, my great-grandma, She didn't, we heard she never went to look at him. She was in the shrine room with the rosary and with a light, lamp to the Buddha, and she was meditating. And no tear at all. And then my mother was very, close to her. My own mother. My mother is also very spiritual. So my mother, she used to tell my mother, she was so small, she used to show the 9 cemetery contemplation. Have you seen this? The body, how it disintegrates in 9 days normally. It's 9, stages. If you keep a body, like for example, dead body, and if you allow it for some time, you find worms coming and crows coming and taking it apart. So there's a meditation where you visualize what happens to this body. Okay? She used to show those pictures to my mom. So that means she was practicing this. She was visualizing, she was looking at this particular, and she was internalizing it. So that's why I could see how she behaved that way. And the reason why she practiced like that, to see, I realized, they were associating a Burmese temple. This in south of Sri Lanka. So the Burmese temple, they have like a portrait of those monks in our home, in my grandma's home. Those days I remember. That portrait, when you look at them, you can see they are like commandos. You can see like they were like striving monks, whoever they are. I remember, my great-grandma, they would have associated those monks. So what happened? They would have imparted that same energy, same practice. So they also attain that. You understand? Even lay people. So I hope you all will get this strength. Like my grandmother, they were happy with cutting a pinkama or little meditation in the morning. They couldn't make it too much, but she had a lot of faith. That's a different thing. But you must know the standard of effort you must make as a daily, then you will get the effect. You must protect yourself. You are not going to haunt your relations later on. Then you will raise their consciousness also high. It's not having that selfish love, So if you develop this, you find you'll be raising them also out of this suffering. They will see an example, someone of their own relation, that who is doing this. And he will get the fullest, you have given them the greatest gift. I said, do you get that point? And this symmetric contemplation you can try. I know even some monks who have left family so difficult, old monks. So they have told me how they have overcome their pain and this thing by this. It's called symmetric contemplation. Okay? That the body, how it disintegrates. Some pictures are there, some they have like publicized these pictures. This is also good practice. Okay, see the danger of if you get too attached and you like clingy too much, that this is very dangerous too for you. But while you are living, when you have strength of mind, why not put some effort and get that peace? Go refuge to the great master, the great one who liberated us, the Buddha, and then do the contemplation, then do metta bhavana. Like that, separate yourself, paying attention in the morning, like until you forget the thoughts about your family. Wait. And your house chores and all that, it may get neglected. But wait until you get the effect. Master it, where the senses, subdue, and then you start. Like that, next day. So you learn to, experience this Dhamma taste. That's very important. Okay. This is called Halidakani Sutta. This is also like a very good meditation object. Thus have I heard on one occasion the Venerable Maha was dwelling among the people of Avanti on Mount Papata at Kurugara. When the householder Halidakani approached the Venerable Maha, paid homage to him, sat down to one side and said to him, Venerable Sir, this was said by the Blessed One in the questions of Sakka. Those ascetics and Brahmins who are liberated in the extinction of craving are those who have reached the ultimate end, the ultimate security from bondage, the ultimate holy life, the ultimate goal and best among devas. Wait a minute. There are two suttas, Thus have I heard. On one occasion, the Venerable Maha was dwelling among the people of Avanti on Mount Papata at Kurugara.
Then the householder Halindakani approached the Venerable Mahakachana, paid homage to him, sat down to one side, and said to him, Venerable Sir, this was said by the Blessed One in the questions of Magandhya, of the Attakavagga. Having left home to roam without abode, in the village the sage is intimate with none. Rid of sensual pleasures without expectations, he would not engage people in dispute. How, Venerable Sir, should the meaning of this stated by the Blessed One in brief be understood in detail? The form element householder is the home of consciousness. One whose consciousness is shackled by lust for form element is called one who roams about in a home. The feeling element is the home of consciousness. The perception element is the home of consciousness. The volitional formations element is the home of consciousness. One whose consciousness is shackled by the lust for the volitional formations element is called one who roams about in a home. It is in such a way that one roams about in a home. And how, householder, does one roam about homeless? The desire, lust and delight and craving, the engagement and clinging, the mental standpoints, adherences and underlying tendencies regarding the form element, these have been abandoned by the Tathagata, cut off at the root, made like a palm stump, obliterated so that they are no more subject to future rising. Therefore, the Tathagata is called one who roams about homeless. The desire, lust, delight and craving, the engagement and clinging, the mental standpoints, adherences and underlying tendencies regarding the feeling element, perception element, volitional formations element, the consciousness element, these have been abandoned by the Tathagata, cut off at the root, made like a palm stump, obliterated so that they are no more subject to future rising. Therefore, the Tathagata is called one who roams about homeless. It is such a way that one roams about homeless. So this is also again the connection of consciousness with body, feeling, perception. Consciousness can never arise without these four factors. Okay? So actually Buddha is the one who separates and shows it. So like you have body, we need body, the craving for that, craving for feelings, perceptions. So with the meditation, what you do is you remove that desire in stages, first from sila, and then from samadhi, then from the highest way, from wisdom. So it's nice food for thought. If you want to one day contemplate more about the secret of our life, better do it before it's too late. and I mean, I felt this when I was 18 years old. So some people thought I was wasting my youth, wasting it for this Dhamma and all this. Some of my relations, everybody, they thought, oh, it's a waste. But luckily I was more wise, can see old age and death will come. So when I finally took my final decision to become a monk also, this was another insight happened, how things are just finishing. Now I tell very often, there's not much time, let's quickly do it, I tell the organizers also. They are also wondering whether I'm telling that I'm going to pass away. Yeah, it's also possible. We could pass away any time, we must be ready. But now I am very ready because I have given something to all of you, and a very solid way, even in Sri Lanka, very much how to contemplate the suttas for attaining Nibbana. Okay, so that is a main key I think I would have given to everybody. Hopefully they can make use of it. It's not a study thing, it's a magic book. If you read, so much your karmas can get, even if you don't understand. And if you do understand little bit even, that will, it will be a great thing. Okay.
Different wrong views, one of which was something like, I might not be, it might not be for me, I will not be, it will not be for me.
Yes.
And I was finding it hard to understand, to make sense of it, but it felt like it would help me understand the 65 and 66 suttas about the world, or a description of the world does not exist without the I. But I'm not sure if I had understood it correctly, and I wondered if you could explain. A description
of the world will not exist without an I.
A world or a description of the world without the I can't be found. So I thought that the I might not be. If I could understand that, it might help me better understand that sutta that was obsessing me before.
Okay.
And I wondered if you understanding the original Pali and understanding the whole thing, I think it's the
Right.
semantics that are difficult.
Right. So that's one sutta. I remember what you're talking about. It's like all these different views that can come up. So it will always come up with, for example, the craving to feelings. So it's actually the idea of I, what is very predominant for us to hold on to is a feeling. So more we have craving for a feeling, the idea of I will come. Even if you have a body, it must have the consciousness must be there, and a feeling must be. Feeling is the main thing in the consciousness. So associating the feeling only, these views come. Okay, but more you begin to see you barely look at the experience from the root of the experience, like where the contact is there, how it happens, when the contact, then the feeling, how it arises. And if you happen to analyze, how they are coming by certain conditions, and by part you can watch its process as a process, then you will know that that idea of I will not remain in you. So actually, anywhere you have to analyze the conditioned nature, that this was the cause for this to arise. Now even that thought, like you should know how, because you have certain craving, you're attached to certain craving, it should be definitely to a feeling. And due to that, you're getting, these views. So I take it very simply, not to take, that whether it's in, we say the form is in the body is in the form, and all these different views. It's actually, you can take basically, you normally feel the I-ness with the body. Okay? You feel the I-ness with the feelings. This is the normal way. Only when we analyze, contemplate, only we get an idea slowly that it was, you begin to have another you, which has, like that you has, that I has dissolved. That is the wisdom you. Okay, you are looking at the other you. That is the ignorant you. So this slowly your meditation will, so that part it's a meditation where you are creating more awareness from the Dhamma knowledge. So you have that wisdom, and then automatically, if it is more practice, then you will have that as a knowledge that there's no self, it's just a movement.
Yeah. So when it says that the I might not be, it will not be for me, is
a
wrong view.
No, that one, that is also, no. That is also when it's attained, a certain attainment is talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. That what you're talking about there, it will not be. That is about the defilement, certain. Like when you attain, even, that is talking about something about an attainment.
I think it talks. Does it come up twice? I feel
Sorry?
like it might. I feel like it was in two different places.
Yeah. This is talking about actually the defilements will be absent, and then you will. That's about a liberation state.
Okay.
Yeah. That's about a liberation. I'm sorry.
It will take a while, I think.
But I don't ponder too much on those, which is I just take it what you immediately find clear, and okay, what you clear also there something makes you think, just ponder on it. But don't try to squeeze an understanding from a sutta. Just let it be, and then when you're going through it again another time, then there'll be sudden clarity coming.
Thank you.
So good. You have to find another question. Anybody else? Yes, that's.
Good evening, everyone. I'm new here, so please forgive me if I said something not right. There's a question in me for quite some time, and it may not be a clever question for you, but it is my honest question. We were told that once we pass on, we will reborn, right, into another
World over
wherever we were supposed to be. But every year we were told by our parents to go back to do prayers for our ancestors and everything. So are we praying them, or is just to get peace and just to practice the respect to our ancestor?
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, the ancestors are known in many cultures. It is a very tangible, very close thing to us. So sometimes in dream, and people have, there's so many traditions where ancestors were felt. So actually, it is our duty. It's a kind of a duty in the human plane to transfer merit, do good deeds, and so there's endless number of ancestors. It may be not our immediate grandparents or somebody like that, but there are some ancestors following us always. So it's our duty to, but I think it's also our duty to attain higher states of consciousness, samadhi. Now sometimes ancestors becomes our guides. That's also possible, where we are only interested in merit making and so on. So sometimes they guide us. Sometimes we are not independently doing things. Actually, a lot of people, it is like that. Like mostly the spirit world, the ancestral world is guiding the people. So normally, that's why when meditation is done, it is not popular. It's not liked. Because ancestors don't want to leave, to be detached. So if it's good ancestors, they will still direct you to good deeds and things. If bad ancestors means who are had some this thing, they will take you to maybe it also come in that relationship, that connection comes also based on your karma. Okay, suited. So the unseen world, the ancestors also will come in contact, and the seen world who comes in contact has a karmic back behind, karma from previous life, what karma you had to go through. Okay, but you must make a choice. You must do the duty of offering and transferring merits to them, and also you must make sure you are a being who is not influenced by ancestors. You are giving tremendous peace by detaching yourself. That means you must start meditation. Okay, and sense control, and then you are raising your consciousness to say, you're getting tranquil moments. Then you are also getting detached from things you see around you in family and all that. You just do it as a duty, but you learn to little distance from your conscious. That means you have more peace, okay, more equanimity. And that state of mind will definitely affect the unseen spirit. They will be also raised by force to a higher plane, because that's like a whole tsunami you're opening up. Okay? But they don't like that. But if you allow, so you should be a relation or relative who is going on the path, where you are detaching yourself from, all levels. So that's, as a human being, we have that capability. Otherwise, you find when you are 30 or even 20, 30, you think you are independent. But someone might look at you and say, you look like our grandma. You look like our grandfather. The dead grandfather, grandmother is with you. You understand? So, it's important that's why meditation is very important, where you're releasing a certain from a certain level of attachment, and then if you do that, you will be raising them as well as you're also freeing yourself, and you're like a fresh being, doing the way you want to go. You're not directed by anybody, you're not like a puppet or something. So that's very important. But you must do the duty for ancestors. But some people keep photographs and all that. I don't think that's very good. They have too much. You can see what they have inside them. They put it outside, ancestral worship. So then you are activating that plane alone. You're not going higher to Deva or Brahma or and finally to Nibbana actually. As a Buddhist, we should know that's a master is there. Buddha has taught us to sort of pass through all these uncertain planes and to come to security in samsara. Yeah, it's clear. You got some answer. Yes, you do your duty as those pujas. Also, what you do, that's our duty. But make sure that you develop this. You master this peacefulness of mind, whether you're doing normal work, a meditative life.
so that, then to do the readings and so on. Then you'll be attracting higher beings also to you, who have been doing these things while they were in this planet. So then you'll get a different path being encouraged. Yes. Last one, maybe we will be staying here tonight, all of you. Okay. 10 o'clock, no? They close? I think. That's okay.
Bhante, just now you were explaining to that lady about ancestorship, and then you said about if somebody comment you like a person like, you look like your grandfather, look like your grandmother, it means that your grandmother or your grandfather is with you. That a bit shocked me. Is it that the spirits are around that person? Their
Yes,
spirits?
if they have fallen into that state of existence, they will be around. They have been attached to you. So then they are mostly influencing. As I told you, that person who was dying, very old person, actually, I don't know how to say that. It was my father. I don't want to say, I didn't feel like saying. But later, he was in that condition. Then I made him a monk. Okay? That's very important. I waited for the time. I didn't actually, because I was, at the age of 18, already I separated from my mind, the family, everybody. When I knew the time for somebody, I used to go, I had to do the things. Okay? So so when he was like, at a certain time, he was having those disturbances. That means they were there. Okay? So he was there, he was as a lay person. Suddenly at a certain time, and as a old person, he was distracted by, it's not easy. They lived a worldly life. Then he nearly died. He had a pneumonia and all that. He survived, So I knew now is the time when he's conscious to give him suddenly the spark came, and I didn't tell anyone. I took him in a vehicle. I have my close devotees, 2 people just to support me, help me. And on the way in the vehicle, I asked, do you like to become a monk? He said yes. He's old and he's like, so then I ordained, his entire things changed. It's very interesting to see, his entire, he got a new life. And after the ordination, slowly, everything started changing. He had peacefulness coming. So that experience was before. He was getting this sort of kind of, So I come to my understanding. Now, a lot of old people, they experience this. And when they come to near dying moment, so now psychologists, they come, they give you some medicine, whatever, this thing. So, but we have on the spiritual path, we know what to do. That's so I did something for my father. At that time when he had that problem, he suddenly gets up and he tries to run away from, people, you think he's mad. So, but he saw, when he saw me, I said, he knew I would understand what's going on in him. He couldn't explain anybody. He's so shy also. He had some personality to, have that dignity and all that suddenly he can't control. So this, after the ordination, it changed a lot. So that's why I said this Buddha's refuge, and if you follow those stages of taking 8 precepts, okay, that's also very important, 8 precepts, and having daily meditation in the morning and while you're going in the vehicle, in the tram car or whatever, you must learn to put that practice. When I was going in a tram car in Delhi, I saw a Muslim means there was phone. He was having this Muslim, the surahs. In one of the surahs, you have this, what is that, Yusuf, the prophet Joseph. His life story, I have known about it, I feel inspired by him. So from behind I was looking, I was thinking, this is a great person, He's doing the right thing. While he's going in the tram car, he's, the car, sense world is working. He's replacing that with this perception. Now this is a very good example you must really follow. It's meditation, then you have to bring it there. So he was bringing these thoughts to and I'm sure his karmas get burnt in a different way. So then, but when he was leaving, it was crammed and all that. I actually tapped him and said, very good, I wanted to encourage him because I was very impressed. So these things you can do, okay? That's very important. Don't worry, don't go to the mirror and check yourself. But in the morning meditation, if you get into more samadhi, all these influences, they can't come. Especially the spirit or that world. And as a practitioner, you will be helping them. Make sure you are detaching yourself from, and you are enjoying that sense of peace that you must get in the morning. Early morning, especially 3:34, these times also, the nature also will help you. And then while you're doing the work, try to bring in these practices. Then after 1 week, 2 weeks, you'll see a change in you. Anybody else?
You said early morning, is it mean have to be 3:30?
You can reduce a bit.
Unless you sleep 9 o'clock.
Okay, yeah, I know, I understand. 3:30 has a special thing, 3:20 to 3. But here, I don't know, depending on the sun, 3:20 to 3:40 has a very concentrated, where cosmic energies, that's what the one reason. But until 5:30, until light, dawn, you can, that's all that time is very good, conducive. Nature supports you. Who have not got meditation also, they might get some result. Yeah, that's the reason. Though if you get a result, a taste of it, you will not stop it. You must get a higher pressure, you must experience that. Why are we driven? Because we have, that experience gives us so much, inspiration. It inspires you to, continue with energy. And you get more experience, then you get hung to that. Held to that, I don't know how to English I'm speaking, okay? Anything else? Now I think you will have, you can meet me in Penang, okay? On the way, I think it's a direct, is transit, no? I don't think we are coming back, direct flight. Okay. So I'm happy for all who did the retreat, and I'm sure, I hope, I have not much big thing to tell you. Only thing I think, the thing you'll get is that to practice. I'm sure you will get that inspiration to do this. And then if you really want to just to keep the suttas with you, don't neglect how much teachings you hear from any monk. Don't neglect to listen to the Buddha himself. Okay? So make sure you have the Buddha's original words, and then you will never be misled. You will be having the right guide for your practice. Your effort will be not just wasted, It's very important. So I think you want me to continue? I can continue, but I don't think.
Yeah, we have done this almost for 2 hours now, Bhante. Another hour, I think, will hurt everyone. So on behalf of the Committee of Management and the monks at the Buddhist Maha Vihara, we'd like to take this opportunity to thank Bhante Gnanaloka for taking time off from his busy schedule in Sri Lanka and elsewhere. I think most of the time is in Sri Lanka, to come to Malaysia, especially to Buddhist Maha Vihara for the past week. And after this, he's headed to Penang for another 5-6 days, I think, of retreat. And I think we are blessed to have been this opportunity to practice and to listen to Bhante, which is very rare because he doesn't come out to this part of the world very often. And so on behalf of the devotees of Buddhist Maha Vihara, Brother Frankie, could you just offer a small pirikara to Bhante or to his trust? Okay. Just pass it.
Actually, I don't...
Just leave it there, Bhante, maybe... up here again.
Tell you honestly, I don't expect... I would like you to do something for the Sangha here.
Oh,
with it.
okay.
Wait 1 minute.
Frankie,
Excuse me.
Frankie.
Please, on my behalf,
Okay.
please do something for the Sangha, for the Dana or something,
Sure, Bhante.
Please
Okay.
do that. Okay?
So Bhante is presenting this back to us.
Sorry.
To be presented to the Sangha members.
Sorry? Or anything here? Yeah, anything you are doing for the Sangha?
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you.
Okay. Please
So
do that.
let's put our palms together and
So I
thank
get some
Bhante
good
once
karma
again.
too.
Say, Sadhu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So what else can I say? I will tell all this good karma. You think of your parents, your relations, ancestors again, all living beings, hardly any being who has not been your mother, father, brother, according to the Buddha, from the lowest to the highest worlds. May they get a share of this good karma. And definitely all those beings, if you want to liberate them, follow the greatest master step by step, daily as your daily practice, so that you know that he has the infinite compassion, and when you are practicing according to that, you are aligned with that compassion and helping his mission. Yeah, she met me on the way on the path, and I wanted to tell, you want to follow me, right? Yeah, this is how I put a walk. It's not only for exercise. I can't do it anymore. When I walked to some place and practice also. So you have to also learn, even if you are walking somewhere, find an area where gives you some inspiration and energy. So but that's why I couldn't tell you to follow further. Told, please, I must go alone. So these practices you might have to learn. Just make sure that that you're always energized, whether you're on the road, in any place, in the airport, that you go within you and then make the Buddha live in you. So I hope you'll master these practices in practical life. And especially when I first met you all in, what's this place, in Buddha Gaya, it was a special meeting. I can see how when I'm really giving the Dhamma, that like a cycle, it comes back. And some of them are dead and no more. So I had to wait for the time where I got the calling to come like this. So I am very glad that you all are able to get this particular teaching. All this good karma, please transfer to your parents, relations, and all who couldn't come, even in this in this city, and all other countries too. May they get a share of this good karma. May they get that fearlessness to face old age, death, and any adversary. That Buddha's infinite compassion may flow to all these beings. His mission to liberate them from any unwholesome state of mind, and to make them face reality without any worry and fear, with highest peace and highest experience. And may all this good karma to the 4 protective devatas and the divine kings in the Deva Loka, Deva world, and the Brahma Loka, the divine kings who protect these noble teachings. And especially the Buddha's mother too, as a devata, all these 32 crores of devas, may they get these merits so that they can protect more this great mission of the Buddha, to give liberation to living beings, from human beings especially, so that they will never go to a state of suffering, but will go from happiness to highest peace, Nibbana. So patvetva, dukem videtva, nivansu lapatva. May the seen and unseen beings give all protection for all living beings especially, who have the ability to reach this goal, to attain this goal without any delay. May the devatas, may the ancient forces unite to give this support. All in this country especially, you have got this by great fortune, and all the Maha Theras who tirelessly work to do this service, may they receive these merits too, and all your worship to the great masters from the time of Buddha and who established these things. Pay respects to those great monks, and finally to the Buddha's holy feet, his conch shell, and the disc in his noble feet. May that great master's blessing come to all of you, and protection in this samsara, never to suffer again, but going from happiness to highest peace, Nibbana. Supat, dukhim detva, nivansula, samsara perapi matvetva, vahasage Maha guna shakti, dasadisa, vihidena kalya kwenta, may ahinsaka manushyata, dukagnati uthummaga, samsara perapi matvetva, dharme shakti, All blessings to all of you. Have a peaceful time. You all get all the blessings. Sukhi hoto.